everyone, welcome back to our Hygge Adventure. It's Wendy, and today Bella is not with me. She's still in school, so I'm going to be doing a video that was requested by one of my friends who is interested in bringing her kids here to France. So what I wanted to do is share my perspective, my experiences, my opinions, and everything. So obviously this is not going to be like legal advice, professional advice. So anything I share here is just, in my experience and my opinion. So as you guys can see, I am outside. Right now I'm pretty much across the street from my house. And this is the foothills of the Alps. It's absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. And it's just, we feel very lucky to be able to live here. It's really, really cool. So we're about 20 minutes, I would say, from Nice, maybe a little bit less, depends on the traffic. So here just kind of living a dream. It's January 7th and it is like 60 something degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 16 maybe Celsius. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. And if you want the snowy winter, you can just go about an hour up into the mountains, and there you have it. We came here to France. I came in 2017, so about 2.5 years ago, and then I brought Bella with me about a year after that in 2018. So she's been here for about a year and a half. I'm just gonna jump right into it. So Bella was in a French bilingual school, I would say, when we lived in New York City. So she was there for 3 years from kindergarten. And then she had a year in just an English-speaking school. She did take a Spanish class, but just a regular English-speaking school. In between her French school in New York City and our coming here to France. So that gives you a little bit of her language background and her educational background. Our first year in France was spent in Nice, and she went to a regular public school. She had language support for the French language specifically, and she had a wonderful teacher. So that was a really good experience, and a very supportive and kind main teacher as well. So we just loved it there. And she did pick up quite a bit of French, but she wasn't speaking the whole year fluently, which would probably happen if there hadn't been a bit of a hindrance. We actually ended up living with an Italian family, and the little girl went to a bilingual school, and so Bella and her interacted in English. I thought that with all the hours and hours that Bella spent at school, that she would really pick up French and that they would start to switch into French. I also didn't realize how fluent this little girl was in English, which means that school was doing a really good job. However, this really hindered her French progress, and after the blood, sweat, and tears to get the visa and get here, I was very much not appreciative of that, and still, it's still, kind of felt almost like a wasted year. Now she did, it wasn't fully wasted, we'll put it that way. She did make some progress, of course, had a great foundation, but didn't get nearly as far as she would have if she had been more immersed. So my bad, but there you go. Now we moved to a village, as I said, outside of Nice, and she is fully immersed. The people in the village do not speak English, which, if you don't want your child to speak English, is ideal. So we're very happy here in that sense, and for a lot of other reasons. A lot of peace and quiet and beauty, as you can see. So at the school she's at now, this adorable little school with 99 students, she has made friends right away. She knows pretty much everybody. She's got this lovely teacher who knows all the kids, because There's just not a lot of them. They actually have CM1 and CM2, which are 3rd and 4th grade combined because it's so small. So it's just cool. If you want that, like, you know, small town thing, you know, I'd highly recommend French Village, or a village in another country, whatever country you might choose. So yeah, so that's pretty much, I would say that kind of sums up like her education journey. And yeah, so more specifically with her language journey, I've already had a couple of years of French since I moved here like 2.5 years ago. So now I'm able to speak to her exclusively in French, and she speaks to me exclusively in French. At first there was a little bit of resistance to that, but it's just something that within a few weeks she got used to it. So it's totally fine now. It's totally natural for us. We never speak English. And that's really helped her. Now, my partner also is French, and that really helps. She's very, very, very much immersed. I would highly recommend that. If you, as the parent, know the language, the target language, do go ahead and speak it. Especially if you speak it well enough, but try anyway. Even if you don't speak fluently, definitely try to speak that language to make as much progress as you can. Oh, here's something, I'm sorry, I'm adding this in at a weird time, but I want to say before I go any further, because I don't want you guys to miss this. If you're a single parent and the child's father or mother, whoever is the one that would be staying in the US or in England or wherever, you're going to need to get permission from them. Please be warned, you can't just go. You have to get consent from the other parent. We got lucky because he was raised in Europe, and so he was very open to the idea, and we have a really good relationship. So that worked out really well. But just be aware, if you're, not with the other parent, and this is like a single parent endeavor or project, they've got to be on board with it if they've got custody, or if they've got partial custody, or whatever the case is. Yeah, so anyway, Bella's French has taken off. I mean, in leaps and bounds. She still makes mistakes like gender, and, we're working on increasing her vocabulary and stuff, but she has done really well. So now, the younger the child, the easier it is, and vice versa, right? But there are a lot of factors that can influence this. Of course, the level of immersion. So I want to just talk about my perspective on demographics. If you are in a big city, that could be really fantastic for like all the cultural things your child can experience. Let's take Paris, for example. I lived there. I think it's a great example. You've got this amazing like cultural utopia, really, and you've got history and architecture. You've got art, shopping, and just things to do, activities galore. However, the likelihood of your kid running into an Anglophone at school is pretty high. So think about that. If they're really little, they're probably gonna really naturally get that the target language with very little effort. But if you're bringing your child over that's a little bit older and is going to have to be taking that extra step in language acquisition, like any of that translating or in their head or whatever, just be aware of that. If they have Anglophone kids in their school, it's going to be very natural for them to gravitate towards those towards those Anglophone kids. Go ahead and speak the language that is their native language, their mother tongue, and is natural to them. And that's really going to be unfortunate when you do all that work to like get the visa and stuff. So just be aware of that. I would highly recommend a good suburb, be careful, or a small town that is near a big city. That way you've got access to that big city for all the reasons that you'd want to have access to it. However, you don't have the noise, you have more peace and quiet, but you also have a lot more immersion, a lot less chance for them to be surrounded by other Anglophones or make friends with, or, make friends with other Anglophones. So that also, by the way, be careful about expat communities. While I think it can be really great to make friends with other expats, it's going to have that same effect. So obviously, I would not say stay away from other expats at all, because I know for myself, I love being around other Anglophones. It's really relaxing, and just great. But just be aware, if they make other expat kid friends, they're not going to be speaking the target language, probably. If they're really little, maybe. All right, so I think you get the idea there. So I highly recommend public schools as well. I wouldn't personally recommend bilingual schools, but I also don't have experience. I just know from what I know about language acquisition, it's going to slow down their timetable for learning the foreign language. That's just for really evident reasons. So just be aware of that. However, if this is a 2-year project and they need to be staying abreast of the curriculum of the country they're going to be going back to, you might have to. If you're getting, if your company is paying for them to be in a bilingual school, maybe that'll be the right choice for you. So I can't say from personal experience, and I can't say that's going to be the wrong choice for everybody. For us, the right choice was to have her as fully immersed as possible. And the public school systems, in my opinion, and little bit of experience, are pretty good. So I'd highly recommend that. Next thing, don't try to come here for 1 year or whatever country with a foreign language. They'll get the language, but they will forget it twice as fast as if you stay for 2 years, for example, or if you stay for longer. It's just, this is what happens. A lot of times in that first year, you may or may not reach fluency. Your child could reach fluency in a few months. Depends, again, on those factors. Some of those factors we talked about, some other factors. Some kids have more natural aptitude for language. Some kids enjoy it, some kids don't. Most kids don't. Your child might, good for them. Obviously the longer they stay, they're going to be interacting with more of the intricacies of language the longer they stay, and I think that is really great to know. Okay, if you only have the opportunity to come for 1 year, it's obviously better than not coming at all, right? Or to go, or whatever country it is that you choose. But just, you'll just put down deeper roots, When your child maybe returns to the country or wants to use that language in some capacity later, it's going to be more within their reach. It's going to be easier. It will stay longer, stay deeper rooted. As someone who's been here for 2.5 years, I can tell you that I am still learning all kinds of things every day. Expressions, building my vocabulary, manners of saying things, even history of words and expressions, just all these things that, languages are so much richer and so much more complex than I think we tend to think of them. And so highly recommend, if possible, to make this a multi-year project. Okay, I can get into specifics of different ways to do that in a different video. I'm definitely going to put out a couple of videos about the different types of visas that I've gotten, because I've gotten 3 different types of visas each year that I've been here. So I'll definitely share that with you, just from my personal experience, what that was like and what your options could look like. Some of your options. I think that's pretty much it for now. I guess there are other things I could say. Your child will probably make friends really easily. Bella did, so that's really good news. Kids are really resilient. Go for it. I think it's so enriching. Even if you end up going back, if you end up staying in the country, if you end up going back to your country, fantastic experience, and it's not just the language. The cultural experience has been wonderful. I'll do a separate video for that. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel and really help us grow, please do go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. You can stay up to date if you hit the notification bell, but that will help our channel grow. So that's like a really practical way you could help, and obviously a way that you could follow us on our adventures. So I also wanted to say, just a little reminder, I think I said it in another video, we're going to be doing an interview with Bella on her perspective about living here. And then also going to be doing some videos talking about travel in general, travel as an expat, travel as a parent, and some of the travels that we've done, like our recent adventure. And we went and saw the Queen of England and all the royal family, and that was really cool. So that's what we did for Christmas this year. It was really fantastic. I've got a little video I'll try to put up really soon, and that's pretty much it. All right, guys, bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.